up, beautiful people? In this episode, I'm gonna tell you what it's like to have birds for 2 weeks in the new dwelling I had to build specifically for them. Let's go! What's up, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Don't Keep Up With the Joneses. 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 What's up, beautiful people? It's me, Ricky Jones Jr., back again for another video. And like I said, it is about the chickens, okay? Largely because I have had them now for a little bit over 2 weeks, and a lot has transpired since then, okay? So I'm gonna show you what I have built for them, and then I'm gonna talk you through what it's like cleaning after them, okay? So I'm gonna save the messy part for the end, so make sure you stay tuned for that. However, where we are right now is in the backyard. I have not built their whole hoop house situation yet. I'm purchasing the materials for that, but in the meantime, what I do during the day is I actually came across a great idea, just praying and thinking, and I actually had this raised bed scenario made out of pallet wood that I just was walking by. I have like a little wood area where I was doing pallet stuff, and I saw it and I was like, man, this would be a perfect situation for them to be outside during the day. And so what I have is the here bird net scenario that I had in the front yard, which you may or may not can see it, but it is covering them there. And then I put a board in the back just to make sure they had a cool space to go to when it gets hot, because it is going to get hot in Tampa, Florida. But nonetheless, I have the food in there and the watering in there as well, so fret not, worry not, they have that. But then I also had this other triangular raised bed that I made out of pallet wood as well. I did videos on both. I haven't used either one of them. Well, I did use the triangular one, but it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But nonetheless, it was a perfect perching mechanism for the birdies. And so as you can see, they have been loving it, and you know, growing fantabulously. And don't you see the growth? Like, they're not those little chicks that they were before. They are getting bigger, not obviously as big as they will be, but definitely bigger than they were the last video. And so it's even funny because Rain is kind of delayed in like reaching out for them. Ricky still will, he's a go-getter. Even myself, I'm actually daily learning how to approach them and making sure I do it the right way. But nonetheless, in it all, we have our girls in the here scenario. This is during the day, not at night, because it's not protected. I mean, I do have raccoons and possums that will appear periodically in the backyard. And so what I don't want to do is lose my birdies, because I don't have to. So now let me show you what I have built specifically for them, because they do rest in here. One night they stayed outside, but after that they're pretty much in the garage. But now I'm gonna start bringing them outside more so they can get acclimated to the outdoors, as I will be building a hoop house for them. And so, you know, baby steps, okay, pun intended, baby steps. Give a little bit, give a little bit, give a little bit before boom, the shock of being outside. So without ado, let me go ahead and show you and tell you what this is all about. All right, great people, so what we have here is my little makeshift home for them. Again, this is for when they're outdoors, but like I said, I have had them outdoors for one night, when they're indoors in the garage. I've had them outdoors one time. Shout out to the birdies. I see you looking, lady. I see you looking. They're so hard not to pay attention to. But anyway, let's talk about this here. So I did it this way, and obviously this is like a closet rack scenario. I had one. Figure I use it here, and works great. I have it covering, and actually it latches right there, so it's nice and snug. But I do put rocks on all corners for when it's out overnight, which I put it in a shaded area beside my home. But nonetheless, open it up. As you can see, birds, and what you should know, birds love to perch, okay? And so I have two perching mechanisms. Now let me tell you why this side is darker than this side. As you can see, I have the food container here, which the food does very well. They do like it. They're adjusting to the new feeder, as they were used to the smaller blue one when they were little chicks. But nonetheless, this works well. And there's a watering one that looks just like this that I put on this side. Now what took place last night was that one of the ladies poked a hole in it, and so it just drained out. I did not know it. So this side is wet. It's perfectly, this side is dry, and then there's the little real wood perching stick in between. But nonetheless, we have the PVC pipe going. Now I would recommend for people to use PVC pipe over the wood, largely because cleaning, okay? But we're gonna get to that later. It's easier to clean the PVC as it is to clean that, but I'm gonna show you how to do both. And so yeah, we have the wood shavings doing what it's gonna do, which is to collect the debris, we're gonna call it, just in case kids are watching. And I mean, this is actually a nice size area for them to walk about, and you know, just to be there during the evening, right? Because I'll bring them out during the day into my little, you know, makeshift tractor, you know, bird holder for the birdie birds. And I'll just move it around the property, boom, 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 and things like that each and every day, so they have fresh ground to kind of dig in, which, you know, I'm getting to see how they actually are in the real world, and not just, you know, pecking around in the container there, but actually having some ground to actually dig up and mess in and things like that. So, you know, this is where we are, and this is just my second, like 2.5 weeks of having the birdies. Honestly, I don't know how old they were when I picked them up. However, this is where they are now, definitely flapping their wings and all that stuff. And I will say, for those that are looking for me as inspiration to see what they can do, so know that you will be doing a lot of cleaning, okay? They poop a lot, okay? They just do. And really, after 2 days of it needs to be changed. And you know, that's just a process. That's just how it goes, truthfully, and there's nothing around it. You know, really, there isn't anything around it. So know that for those that have talked about the watering, definitely want to elevate it. They mess it over like so fast. Food, they'll topple it over, things like that. I mean, they're babies at the end of the day. They're chicks. So chicks do what kids do when they're that age. They make a mess over things. You just have to clean up. And so you definitely have to have patience. You do want to see to them at least 3 to 4 times a day. I do it in the morning, I do it midday, and I do it in the evening. And definitely making sure everything is cleaned out each and every night is a part of the process. And so know that you can do it. I'm not saying that to say it's hard, because it's not. I definitely have a wife, 2 kids, as you all saw, and full-time job and all that good stuff. However, these are my ladies. These are our ladies, right? Because we are on this journey together. And definitely it's fun. It's fun. This container here that one is 40 inches by 18 inches, the bin that I have them in. And as you can see, it's not even like half. It's probably a third of this here raised bed that I built, that I didn't use, but now I have perfect use for it. So, you know, hey, again, if you watch my pallet videos, you know my saying, don't throw away your old wood. And now we even see another reason why. But with that being said, great people, this is what it's like to have them within like 3 weeks or a week and a half, 2 weeks, 2 weeks and a half of having them. But in essence, I don't know how old they actually are. But with that being said, we're here, okay? That's where we are. That's where we are. And hopefully the next ones, you'll be able to see me build a dwelling place for them, because that is no longer, right? That's just for sleep. This is really during the day. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and cut over to where I cleaned it, talk you through the cleaning process. You may or may not want to watch it. It depends on if you are actually interested in growing and having your own hens, okay, or birds, your own birds. You could have a rooster too, but at the end of the day, I love y'all. Let's go ahead and go to it. All right, great people, so here we are with the whole contraption from another view with all the little chicks. And so what I like to do is just have like the dumpster. I had an extra dumpster that I like to put the chicks in, largely because they do fly, which was a kind of a shocker to me, but they are birds, right? And so this allows for them to have a tall place to try to escape from, which gives me a little, you know, added advantage to be able to you know, stop them from doing so, which I had to put this lid on top because they were moving. And so just think about that when you're going to clean wherever they are. They have to rest somewhere. And so this, my friends, is after 3 days of them being in their home scenario. And so you can see how messy it is and how much poop there is. So much so the flies are even coming by to try to get a snack or whatever. But at the end of the day, hey, this is what it is to do and have chicks, right? And so what I'm doing there is just using a shovel because just of how much it is, and just scooping it into a trash bag with the idea of putting it into the trash can. But I was just overwhelmed with just how bad it was. They obviously poop more and pee more when they get bigger. However, it's just the process, okay? Which means it's time for them to go outside. But anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and clean all this up. the shavings that is, and get those things out before I do wash this bad boy and then continue with the cleaning process. So take a look-see, because this could be you. All right, so after I went on ahead and got all the shavings out, now it's time to give it a nice rinse before I do add the soap to give it a nice scrub it up there, but just making sure all of the, excess shavings and things like that are out of the way is what I'm going for. And just, rinsing off the PVC pipe and the wood perch scenario itself as well. And, the bottom, as you can see, some things are just sticking on a little bit more, and that's probably due to the pee and poop combination that just gels and it makes kind of like a glue. But it's all interesting at the end of the day. But now I'm adding my soap. I'm using Dawn, if you do care to know, and it is the one with the orange scent. I just feel like the orange just add another boost of cleaning action, right? So, hey, that's just what I think. So that's what I'm using, and just going for it. I have my little brush that I also picked up from the Dollar Tree. So these were two things that were $1.25, because no longer $1 at the Dollar Tree. But anyway, so I'm just going in there and giving a nice scrub. This is a part of what you have to do, and do make sure that you clean the wood part as well, because they will poop on there. And I was shocked to see a lot of poop on there, but I did see a lot. So keep those things in mind when you are acquiring chicks, or when you are cleaning after your chicks, that their perching areas do have poop. And so we're just going to give it a nice scrub, making sure everything is nice and clean enough where you will want to put your hands in, is what I go for. Though they are birds, though they are animals, I do treat them well, as I would treat anything that I own. And so with that being said, just making sure everything is nice and clean is what I'm going for. And, scrubbing, rinsing, washing, repeating is what you have to do. And after doing what I just did, if I noticed anything was, a little extra or caked on a little bit more, of course I would go through it again. But that was a nice thorough clean, I must say, so myself. And so I was satisfied. The water was clean. The water was clear, so I felt like it was clean. So after that, just making sure all of the other eating things are clean as well, because they do poop sometimes on their food, largely because the one I have, the blue one, is one in which they can stand on as well, which, birds love to perch. So anything that they can perch on, they're going to go for it. And the food thing is one of the things. But I did see a food holder scenario that has like a spinning top. So I would recommend that to those who may be looking for chicks. But just making sure everything is clean, what I'm going for, the water, the food tray, all of that good stuff. Making sure it's clean. You can do this once a week. You don't have to do this part every 2 days, but once a week you should be good to go from there, because it's something that they take part in each and every day. So just think about it as a plate in your house. How often do you clean it? Daily. And so, don't skip on the chicks, okay? Be mindful. You're going to be eating from them, so making sure they eat well is what you go for. So now, just drying everything off, because it wasn't the evening part of the day, is what I'm going for here. And so that is going to be necessary, because the shavings, the wood, will attract and soak in the water, and then you'll just have a big mess. And so just making sure everything is nice and clean is what you want to do before adding the shavings and the wood shavings, the pine shavings. There are other shavings, but that's why I want to make the distinction. And so now we're going to go ahead and add these pine shavings back in here. And, just making sure everything is nice and, plush, right? Even on the bag it says best cushion. And that's what I want, cushion for my birdies, okay? And so they're funny, because they will even, peck around and try to get to the container itself, which I don't know. That's just what birds do, right? They forage. And so, hey, adding more shavings is what I'm going for. And, we're going to make everything all right. Everything's going to be good. Adding more water into the feeder. That's what I'm doing now, with the idea that they're going to have something nice and fresh to be able to come home to, come home to, because this is something that they sleep in. And so just making sure they have plenty of food is the idea in which I'm going for. And also water, which I already did. And, we're going to connect everything. I have these feeders and things on hooks, with the idea that it's not going to, just hang or sit on the floor because they will mess it up, but it will hang from the top. So now we're gonna add the chicks back before adding the feeder and the waterer, which they don't usually like to go back because they were outside prior to being in the trash can and then going into their nightly bin. But nonetheless, they're like, oh, okay, here we are. And so they're even happy. They're walking around here on the perch. It's like, oh man, this is cool. It's better than a trash can. But and with it, I'll also try to clean off the feet of the birds because they poop. And so they even pooped in a trash can prior to me taking them out. And as you can see, we had a jumper. But with that being said, just making sure their feet are clean before going into their home is what I was going for. And now we have the hooks. It's easier to do the food first than the water because the water is going to be heavy and it's going to throw off the whole situation. And so just making sure you do those things and just making sure it's off the ground is the idea. They're still going to get shavings in it, but it's going to be less shavings than it would be if it was on the floor. And so now everything is nice and clean, presentable, and they are happy. As you can see, look at those bad boys. Chirp, chirp. Whoo, okay, and with that being said and with that being shown, I love you all. I appreciate you all. Happy living, happy gardening, happy growing if it is chickens that you are giving and attending to. So with that being said, have a great day. Have fun. Subscribe if you're new to their channel. I would greatly appreciate it as we are on a goal for 50,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. And with the help of you, we can definitely do so. So with that being said, I love you all. I appreciate you all. I will see you on the next video. Until then, peace. Love you.